What the fuck is his real life name? I knew it at one point, maybe a few days ago, but I don't remember what it is now. Fuck is this?
Bring the beats
Oh,
with
that's not
Premium.
what I
Download
expected.
and bring your music anywhere, so you can dance to high-quality music without hearing ads. Mix up your playlists with song recommendations from Smart Shuffle, or take control of your listening with unlimited skips and repeats. Experience music without limits. Tap the banner to get started.
Good old lithium. Piano Sonata. I think this was the first thing that I stole. And I was like 8. No, well, I use Rogaine. I'm hoping it has an effect. Why do you ask? Is something different about my hair? Is it more full? Perhaps a little gains that I got rowing. I'm a master rower. You should see me at a debate. If you see how good I am at rowing, I get massive gains debating. Cute. Why isn't chat timestamped, brother? Wouldn't that be fucking slick if it was timestamped? My brains are shrinking. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can fix that. No, it doesn't fix it. Well, that's fucking slick. Hold on, how do I pin this message? Fucking Christ. I don't know what I was trying to spell there. I don't think I could pin it unless I'm in Twitch chat, like professionally in Twitch chat. Damn, I look fine. I feel like people are hallucinating, commenting on me. I feel like I'm hallucinating, in that they're just making stuff up about me that's not, and the opposite is true. Like, Michael said I had a good nose, but like, my nose is fucking average, bro. Michael says I was attractive, but like, I ain't got no girlfriend. Girlfriend. And granted, I'm in CRMD and I don't really talk to women except by cold approaching them, which is kind of fucking stupid. What do you mean I was? Hold on. I guess I'm so fat now? That's fair. Or did I age out of it? So if I was to look like this, I'd be attractive then, eh? Oh, I don't got no hairline anymore, bro. It's uneven. I feel like I have one eye just drooping down a little bit. Probably from all the concussions and fucking fights that I've been in. Sag. Actually, no, I think it was always like that. If it's even noticeable. I always had one droopy eye. I'm legit brain dead though now. Compared to how it could have been if I wasn't in fucking football and shit like that. It's fucking sad. Oh, here we go. Alright. Never mind. Well, how do I increase my attractiveness? Actually, I don't really give a fuck. People will take me if they take me. No attractiveness is universal. The only thing is just to increase the chance of what I want. But I'm in select niche things right now, so I'm pretty golden for that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I find that most femdom girls are not very attractive. Like, conventionally feminine traits. Not that I could identify them, I just know what looks good. So it's kinda, you know, whatever. We'll try it, see if it goes well. If it doesn't, oh well. Isotope, I stole it. Oh, God, why am I so tired? I had like an energy coffee thing. I mean, at that point I just say no. Because I don't want to get like literally changed into a female or whatever. I just want to have a girl tell me what to do sexually. And that's about it. Or peg me or whatever. I have dabbled in this a little bit with some girls, and some of them are quite intense. And a lot more intense than I am. And what, ejects me with shit? I would legit freak the fuck out. Maybe this isn't a good time to do that, eh? Because if I get in trouble, I'm gonna get fucked. Into a silly bimbo. Well, girls are the more intelligent gender, so, you know, maybe it'll work out. They are actually on average. Apparently. I don't really... This doesn't fucking... Well, ideally, I do this with somebody who's not gonna fucking transgress. Actually, no, normally I should do this with somebody who doesn't transgress. The worst one that I had was a trans female. And we sexted, and she wanted me to, like, do a bunch of shit that I wasn't uncomfortable with, and she made demands of me, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And she was like, okay, fuck off. Then she contacted me again, and she was like, hey, you want to make this work? And I was like, sure. And then fucking didn't work out, and then she contacted me again, and it didn't work out. Well, the ones that I've had experience with. One of them was really fucking manipulative. And also contacted me like 3 or 4 times after it didn't work out. She was like, hey, No, it was I was submissive enough, I think. One of them said I wasn't very submissive. The first one, actually, Marley. Or whoever it was, I don't know. So... the manipulative one. The first one, she's fucking crazy. Anyway, the manipulative one would be like, yeah, I'm going on vacation to Vancouver. And I was like, oh, you don't live in Vancouver anymore, eh? No, it's just, I was just trying to get to it. I was just kind of flabbergasted how the fuck it's gone so far. It's like when I told that guy, we ain't gonna tell her about shit, so why don't you fuck off? Holy shit. I wasn't fucking working and I said that, bro. I must have been high. Anyway, so the manipulative one says like, yeah, I'm going on vacation to Vancouver in like a week or two. Do you want to meet up? And I was like, you know, you kind of. Oh right, it was a catfish. So this girl catfishes me with somebody else's pictures, right? And I'm like, cool. And she manipulates me the whole time, makes up probably this grand ass story. And ends up sending us money and shit like that, which is just fucking, how does that happen? And and then it turns out she openly admits to it, or she doesn't openly admit to it. I was like, hey, what's with the AI voice that you sent me? Because at this point, I fucking knew right at the beginning she was trying to catfish me, and I accused her of it. And then she used some manipulation tactic based on my ignorance of the actual app that I was using. And anyway, I was like, what's with the AI voice? And then she was like, oh, you know, something. And then she sends me another email, and she's like, yeah, by the way, I'm not who I say I am, and I'm a catfish, but everything I've said so far is true. And it's like... So she contacts me. She's like, yeah, I'm going to... Oh, what the fuck? I know the third one was real. Yeah, I know. She lied. That was part of the manipulation, right? She was like, yeah, I'm going to try and salvage this relationship by telling the person that I'm catfishing that everything I'm saying is true, or at least most of it is true. But, like, there's no fucking way it was true. She uses vacations as, like, a manipulation tactic, where, like I was saying, she was a citizen, like, fucking somewhere in California. She's like, yeah. And she used that as an excuse to message me. And then she messages me after I tell her no and it didn't work out, again, while she's on the vacation that she says for her, and she's in Australia, according to the auto response. And then she messages me more, and then I was like, this is not gonna happen. But the worst one out of the three was the trans female, in terms of like transgressing. She was like a massive alcoholic and drug addict, and I don't want to say more to like, because it would really fuck her shit up more than, because she really punished herself. So, and that one was real. I know that one because, let's just say I know that one.
Food, drink, celebrity chefs, local vendors, worlds of flavor, all packed into 3 days. Fallsview Food and Drink Fest is back. June 6th to 8th at Fallsview Casino Resort. Take part in the culinary event of the year with celebrity chefs Mary Berg, Manit Chauhan, Bob Loomer, Andrea Bucket, Michael Hunter, Andrea Nicholson, and more. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster. And
yeah, I know, but in case literally anybody else is listening in the Coquitlam or Alberta that works in the system that she's in, I don't want to do that to her, because she deep down she was a nice person, but her drug use and everything else got the best of her. Actually, hold on. Yeah, okay, actually I can tell you. I'm gonna delete the messages if I can. It's not fucking contrived. can't see this, right? Yeah, okay, good. No, she did tell me that. It's pretty bad, eh? But she was literally she wasn't like a shiny beacon of like morals. Yeah, that's funny, eh? Okay, I'm gonna delete these. And she was like legit just doing shit. She would get high and message me and be like, "Hey, dude, you want to get fucked?" And I was like, "Not when you're like that." Oh, I know. I was trying to convince her that she had a fucking drug and alcohol problem. She was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." And I was literally like, I didn't think I had a problem either. But then I fucking overdosed. And like, she wasn't a functioning addict, but I guess it got too far along into her addiction that she fucking. And she had a big dick, which is fucking quite concerning. It's funny, eh? And then the catfish, and then the first one, and they're all ended really poorly. Well, the catfish one ended the best, where it was just kind of repudiation. Not even repudiation, just kind of discontinuation of communication. Yes, the more feminine, the bigger the penis. I talked to her though when she was sober, and she was actually pretty nice. Hope she doesn't end up killing herself. I don't think she has it in her to kill herself. Although, you can't really comment when you never see the inside of somebody's mind. Because if it does, like, you know what I mean? Then, like, that's her fucking, a lot of effort went into that, and she fucking. Yeah, but everyone has the potential to change. Oh, you mean a psych ward nurse? No, it's fuck all work, especially FUH. Oh shit. Fuck. Well, That's not gonna be too bad. I hope. I feel guilty about that. I feel remorse. Remorse, guilt, what the fuck is the difference? Guilt is just the verdict. Culpability. Oh no, yeah, this is a definition. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I actually fucking remade that tweet because I realized I used guilty when I was tired as fuck. Does it tell the creator? But yeah, no, like working at FPH is like a fucking... Like, it's just not even a thing. You're literally on your phone like 90% of the time. And if a fight breaks out, you literally just press a button and watch it happen. There's very few people. I've seen 2 people try and break up the fight. Everyone else just lets it happen. Because it's not in their job description. But they're not security guards, that's fair. But like, just on the phone, there are some staff members, healthcare workers, whose job is to literally do like the small tasks. Who will be on their phone on Facebook. And then fucking... I've heard of people asking this one guy. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm kind of busy right now. And goes back to being on Facebook. And that was on A2. No, so there was actually... So there was a fight in the airing court, which is just like a courtyard with like a bunch of grass and... That's about it. It's like pavement and grass. And a few chairs. And I was in the unit which overlooks that airing court. And so there was a fight outside and I was on the phone to my mom, actually. And then I see everyone rush out to the airing court to just try and like surround them by numbers, but not actually do anything really. And so I get up off the phone and I walk over here and I walk. Wait, what is this? So I'm here and then I walk all the way over here and see over here and I look out the windows and there's one nurse who sits inside the bubble, which is like the nursing station. And she comes out and starts yelling at me. She's like, "Get inside! Get inside!" And I'm like, "Whoa, calm yourself." I didn't say that. I was just like, "Whoa, okay, I'm using the phone." And I start walking back and I'm like, and she just keeps yelling at me. And I was like, fuck. And I fucking was like really calm and collected considering somebody's yelling at me. And it's a fucking power position. Which is just fucking like, learn how to treat people. Anyway. So I go, Mom, I gotta go. And then, yeah. And then I walk inside and I'm like, some people are human. Except you. As a justification of my actions and, disapproval of hers. And then my psychiatrist gave me shit. The one psychiatrist that I had, I was like, yeah, I didn't like being yelled at. It didn't make a difference because you're always in the wrong as a patient. Doesn't matter if you're like... No, yeah, she literally just yelled at me. Like, it wasn't like, who gives a fuck if the button is pressed, bro? There's 2 dudes fighting in a fucking grass field. And so this is, this is, you know, if you're a patient, not allowed to watch the fight, but if you're a staff member, you're allowed to watch the fight. Is basically what the point of the story was. Yeah, she literally stayed inside yelling at me, and I was like, fucking Christ. So good on her, you know, she's a good staff member. Fucking cunt. Yes, I know. And yeah, I could have some empathy for her. Because I know that it's like hard in a situation like that. Because whenever I see the episodes running and the buttons pressed, I actually get a little freaked out too. But like, I wasn't yelling back at her. And I was completely, well, I wasn't acquiescing, but I eventually did acquiesce. Yeah, it was just fucking, it was complete. It was only because I got off the phone and went to go watch the fight that she did that. It's interesting. She went on medical leave, or not medical leave, like some sort of leave after that. I don't know, somebody died close to her or something like that. I wasn't a fan of her after that. I wasn't really a fan of her before that, because I didn't really have any interaction with her. She's one of the ones that is just on her phone all the time. To my knowledge, I didn't really... But yeah, so there was a thing, there was what the fuck was it? It was like a accreditation or something like that, and the CSLNs and the site leaders, which are like the two ranking positions amongst the staff, and like the normal staff that come on to like adjudicate things. So they sent out a message on the radio that was like, yeah, get off your phones for this accreditation. It's not going to look good for us. We won't get the money. Not that last part, but basically, yeah, get off your phones. They sent out an email and they sent out shit because it's so well known. And they give fucking newcomers shit. Like people who are training to be in the job shit for using their phones. Even though everyone else does it. Like, it's so toxic. Oh. Oh, I'm not gonna say that, actually. It doesn't really matter. It's so frustrating. Dealing with the people at that freaking environment. It's fun though. There's a lot of fun, like selling smokes and fucking doing drugs and shit like that. If you find doing drugs fun. Some people don't really like it because it's kind of shit. You just have to stay in your room and not draw attention to yourself. Which draws attention to yourself because if you have a different thing. I stole this hand sanitizer. And I had like a tiny amount of alcohol inside me. And they charted that I was like acting completely different. And I was looking around at bushes. And I was like... It was literally like this much. Like a tiny one of those handheld... pocket-sized hand sanitizer. Yeah, it is pretty lame. I didn't really... See, I had the exception where I didn't give a fuck. Yeah, it was one of these. Which is 45 milliliters. And that's literally all I did. I didn't even finish it because I puked. I was like, I gotta smoke when I was like, it was fucked. So, people would do Suboxone, which like interacts with nicotine. Yeah, it sounds like, okay, it was actually very frustrating for smoke sellers to sell smokes. Because they would yell your name from across the yard. They'd be like, "Ah!" Specific ones too, not everybody, just specific patients. And I was like, or they were like, please stop doing that. I swear to God, you will not get any smokes again. And they still did it, so I was like, and it's frustrating. Yeah, but I know people who sell to everybody. My friend sold to everybody who just wanted it, because that was the point. This friend that I had wanted to supply the demand in the cheapest way and most effective way possible. And they even lowered front prices to just regular prices, so nobody would get into debt unless they were just getting into debt. Like, 'cause the front prices where people get into debt, and the upfront prices are just where people pay with cash. I actually didn't, so they knew that I was not selling smokes, but my friend was. So I was smoking the cigarette one day, and so we chose this spot where we thought we could get away with it because nobody was on grounds. And then freaking we light up, and then these two guards walk right out the door that we were smoking at, and we were like, fuck. And so we just walk away really fast, like, hey, you two, what are you doing? And so fucking I turn around, or me and our friend turn around, and we have a cigarette in our hands, and we're just like, fuck. So they were like, oh yeah, who has the lighter? And I was like, I do. And then they charted, or somebody charted that I had like a whole pack of cigarettes, but I literally didn't have a single cigarette, so I don't know where that came from. Like, I guess maybe it was a typo, or they were just maliciously charting. Based on evidence that, you know, somebody was selling smokes, but I don't know why you'd make up a lie like that. Well, okay, so the thing is, there's a bylaw that says you're not allowed to smoke inside a hospital grounds. There's a bylaw that says you're not allowed to smoke on a park. We are both a hospital and a park. On a park. Colony Farm Park, Regional Park. Oh shit. So, and it's like a legal thing that you're not allowed to smoke at a hospital. And since everybody's inside, you can't do that. But schizophrenics, like up to like 80% of schizophrenics in one state hospital study that I saw, smoke. So like, it's like 4 out of 5 schizophrenic people smoke, which is just incredible numbers. And there's nothing to fucking do. Like, they intentionally make it so it's not comfortable, and they openly admit to that. They're like, yeah, this place is not supposed to be comfortable for you, because then you wouldn't want to leave. So that's like, you have fuck all entertainment, except like smoking and drugs. So what people do is they either crotch it or they shove it up their ass in a condom, 2 condoms usually. I've never done that with cigarettes. It's not my thing. It's not really worth it for me. I don't want to put that shit in my ass. It's like big and it would hurt, and fucking it's a lot of effort, and I get like what, like $100 out of it, if that. I would get $100 out of it if I was doing that. I was buying them for 50-ish packs, but that was when it was really cheap, because I told you about the guy who phoned me up one day when I was in the hospital inside the unit, and I was like, hey, I got $2. Yeah, but getting pegged is like a repetitive motion. It's from a girl. I'm not trying to get myself off with fucking a pack of smokes, bro. Some people just shove 2 packs up their ass, like literally like this big, in one go. Actually, no, it may be layered like this, but still, like fucking, that's crazy. And so now the smoke, they kind of crack down like really hard, and they've been progressively cracking down. True. That's why I was buying like 3 packs at a time at one point. Just dropping 150 to get 2 from one guy and 1 from another guy, because I had to split the difference. Because if one guy tried to raise the price, I'd go to the other guy, and if that guy tried to raise the price, I'd go to the other guy. What do you mean airspace? Oh, they knew I was selling smokes. There's no way they were that dumb. I've even admitted to it to some of the staff, like openly, like forthcomingly. If that's what you mean. The review boards, like, I sold smokes because I didn't want people to get ripped off. And I was, when I worded it before, I was just trying to be calculated. Oh yeah, no, there's this one story that one of the staff members tells me that this guy flew a drone into a fence, and he literally was like, I'm gonna let the drone go, or yeah, that was the thing. People have done that. So this guy drives a drone into a fence, like an flying drone, and he hits the fence, and then he fucking tries to go get it. He tries to climb the fence to go retrieve it. So the FSOs come out, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know what happened with that. I don't know the resolution, but that was apparently a story. There are ways to get it inside the hospital, which I am not at liberty to say. But you could get stuff in the hospital, even if you x-ray and cavity search literally everybody, people will still get it in the hospital. Oh yeah? I'm not yeah, okay. She gotta be tiny though. She gotta be like Cynthia, bro. Fucking Christ. Oh, Sag. This is really interesting. Is that arrow not working? Yeah, it should be. Okay. Oh, shit. But yeah, the hospital was like fun if you let it be fun, and it's shit if you like really awful if you let it be awful. And the more distance you get from the hospital, the more you realize how much of a fucking terrible place it was. And it still is. Oh yeah, and the whole thing about selling smokes now is because they cracked down on it. It's going for like $20 a smoke, which is 4 times as much as I sold it for. Front is even higher. $20 a smoke for one, up front. And so people just get massively taken advantage of, which is exactly what I didn't want to happen. Because I bought it off people that were taking advantage of people. Like the packs. So they didn't have any money, or they didn't have any packs for themselves, or almost no packs for themselves. So now, like, a few people in the hospital who buy smokes get it for like $20, and then they get manipulated into buying 5 for 20 if they get 20 off somebody else. And then it turns out that those 5 cigarettes weren't even there in the first place. Yes, that's basically... Well, the hospital is fucking challenged. Like, they're so stupid. And nothing about that place makes sense. But they like to say that their hands are tied because it is technically illegal. But like, when I was in the psych ward when COVID hit, we were allowed to smoke on the 5th floor of KGH inside the basketball court that was on that level, like underneath the helicopter pad. And that was a hospital too, but like, in US prisons they do that, so the guards can be the sole fence from the outside and get cover everything that gets sold inside. What do you mean do what? Like bring in stuff for the client or prisoners? That's literally everywhere. Everywhere has a price. Yeah, they do unit searches every so often. I was targeted in unit searches. They never actually found anything for me, like literally ever. They never found a single drug on me. Or in my room. Ever. And I was doing drugs every fucking day. Like, fucking so inconfident. Oh, is that why the guards do it? That makes sense, actually. Because you get like $1,000 a cell phone for like those shitty little disposable ones, apparently. Martin Shkreli brought in a cell phone. Multiple times, I believe, actually, using guards. I was watching a video of his. He's doing okay, by the way. I'm sure you care. He's a good guy. He's not that good of a guy, but he's funny. God damn, it's cool being in like a institution type system and coming out of it being like, I've been called a kingpin. I don't think I was, because I mean, depends on what you define it as. These two people, one, they're both actually pretty crazy. I don't know why they'd say that. The Kingpin versus the Megadon. Maybe that's why he calls me the Megadon all the time. Or maybe it's because he's cool like that. I wish I could just shit in my chair, bro. Depends. Depend. At depend is good. Dude, my haircut looks fresh as fuck. That Rogain's really kicking in. Haircuts are $25 now. That's fucking absurd. I was talking to this Ukrainian hairdresser about Cyrillic. Cyrillic. Okay, I actually need to go to the bathroom. I mean, one's deterministic. I don't actually know the answer to this. Probably, what, in English? Probably because it's Kiev. Or Kiev. And not Kiev. Because I is E, and then E is Ev. Or E. So it's Kiev. Something like that, anyway. If I go back, and I will go back, so I got a really good haircut, I will. She told me her name, she's like, Tatiana. Good person. I'll be right back. She's fresh off the boat.
Now, your Professor Thorne in this question, what is the problem with general relativity not melding together with quantum physics? What is the real holdup there?
Well, the real holdup is that they are logically incompatible with each other, and so something has to give.
And that's because of the general relativity requires space to be a continuous.
You have a continuum space, and it's a very definite space. It's not a space where you have a certain probability that space is warped in this way and another probability is warped in that way.
Checking no probabilities at all.
Yeah, there are classical probabilities, but not
quantum.
Probabilities.
And so at the smallest scale, they're incompatible.
The smallest scale, they're incompatible in any place where gravity becomes extremely strong. They're incompatible. So the smallest scale, they're incompatible even here in this room. But also they're incompatible. They're incompatible in the birth of the universe when gravity was extremely strong. They're incompatible in the core of a black hole where gravity is extremely strong. They're incompatible if you try to make a time machine. Hawking and I, independently with our students, sort of identified a process whereby if a very advanced civilization tries to make a time machine, it will quite possibly explode at the moment you try to turn it on.
What?
And that's also controlled by these laws of quantum gravity.
Why doesn't he just fucking answer the question?
So that's why we haven't seen any time travelers yet.
Well, that may be the
It would
reason.
explain it. They're all dead trying to turn on the machine.
That's right.
What you're saying is Einstein puts forth the general theory of relativity.
The best theory we have is the Standard Model, which uses quantum field theory. Quantum field theory uses four-dimensional space-time and uses path integrals to calculate the scattering amplitudes and so on of particle interactions. These particle interactions have the strong force, for the strong force, the electromagnetic force, and the weak force. They all have particles that transfer they're force propagators. They actually do the work in the force. So like when you shoot light, it's electrons bouncing up and down, and the electromagnetic force is shooting off photons to do the force. Strong force and weak force, same thing. Gluons and the fuck is it? It's not mesons. Boson, no. What up, Blind? Well, regardless, gravity is not a force, is what I'm getting at. It has no graviton. There's no such thing as a graviton. So quantum field theory is technically wrong because it assumes gravity is a force.
Which is so successful in so many realms. And it picked up where Newtonian gravity failed, yet we must confess or concede that there's a limit to how far
Oh, okay, you're being jocular, eh? That's hilarious, Blind.
general relativity goes. Although we've yet to find a limit to
that's trauma from
quantum
my childhood.
physics. So the betting pool will say
if this
general
plank
relativity
comes
is
up,
going to succumb to quantum physics in some way.
Yeah, that's one way to say it.
I don't think that's
certainly
true.
There is this incompatibility between the two.
And string theorists are trying to be they're like performing the shotgun wedding between the two branches of physics somehow.
Yeah, and I do think, again, looking in from the outside, since I've chosen not to work in this field, that string theory is likely to be a successful route into the correct laws of
Yeah, but
quantum
they've
gravity.
been at it for 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
40,
but
40
that's
years.
not very long.
That's
Come on,
not
I'm
too long,
84 I'm
actually.
84 years
Newton's
old.
gravity was 200 years old.
That's just a drop in the bucket. Come on.
Wait, but
Space string
Einstein went
theorist?
from special relativity to general relativity in 10 years.
Yeah, yes.
Kepler went from weird nested solids to the Kepler's 3 laws of motion in 10 years. And that's lone scientists.
We've been working to try to do controlled fusion for
The rest
Oh
of you.
shit. Because that is actually how quantum field theory works. Is it assumes gravity is a force, and they're trying to find the graviton. This is a hypothetical prediction of quantum field theory. And so string theory, they haven't found it. String theory predicts it, and quantum field theory needs it. But it doesn't work like that. They've only found gravitational waves using LIGO, which proves general relativity. It does not bode well for quantum mechanics, or the grand unified theory, as they call it.
for a
50
lot
years.
longer than more than 50 years. LIGO took 50 years from the time I first
Yeah.
started working on gravitational waves until we succeeded was 50 years. Some
Okay.
things take a long time.
Yeah, but LIGO is a
Higgs
machine.
boson took a long time, too.
The merging of quantum physics and general relativity are ideas. Could it be? And I've said this. I don't want to say this to you because like you're Kip Thorne, but I've said this to Brian Greene. Okay, because Brian Greene's like my generation. I said to Brian Greene, I said, Brian, you've been working on string theory for decades.
Yikes.
Maybe all of you are just too stupid to figure it out, and we're waiting for someone else to be born into this field to then solve it in the ways none of the rest of you
That's
can.
such an
None of them are
impudent
saying,
statement.
I'm too stupid to figure this out. Let me choose another profession. No, they're saying the problem is too hard. And if you go 40 years of really smart people not figuring something out, that tells me either they're barking up the wrong tree or none of them are smart enough. Am I overreacting
Well,
here?
I think you have to remember that we do build on each other.
Yeah.
And none of them by themselves are smart enough.
Okay.
But the community, again, it's like this Nobel Prize really belongs to 1,000 people. Doesn't belong to me.
With a genesis in Joe Weber.
At the Genesis and Joe Weber, we build. Newton spoke of standing on the shoulders of giants, and that really is true.
If I can see farther than others, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants who have come before me.
And that's the nature of science. And the struggles that our colleagues have been having with string theory and M theory and quantum gravity, we've learned an enormous amount. It shows it's very promising, but it's going to continue on into the next generation before the ultimate success is had, very, very, very probably.
Those are like final words right there. Those are like,
Did you guys get why is quantum mechanics and general relativity are incompatible? Okay, this isn't a thing. The Planck scale has done nothing but awful things for physics. It actually kind of frustrates me that people use fucking unit manipulation. Universal constants, which are not constant. Probably. To fucking try and, like, prove something. Planck scale is like Planck length and Planck time, and some are big, some are small, and some are a mix. I find it rather shallow and pedantic. Oh, fuck yeah, bro.
We found a video of you where someone asked you about IQ. And you said you were previously tested quite a while ago, and you said it was in excess of 150. Granted, it does decline as you age. And you also said having a high IQ like that means that you have high volatility or variance in other areas of intelligence.
As intelligence increases,
Not really. You look at like Gauss, who was proclaimed to be a mathematician, astronomer, geodesist, and a physicist, who contributed to many fields in mathematics and science. Known for, hold on, let me get the Wikipedia page where he's known for stuff. A full list. Physics, oh wow, this is gonna scroller. What do you mean quite red? Gauss rifle? That's technically him, I guess. Not very useful. You could use a freaking rotor. And that's a Gauss cannon. It's a Gauss rotor, if you want to call it that. A three-phase rotor. Oh, wait. Fucking magnetic rotor. What is these called if it's not rotor? Yeah, it is rotor. Electric rotor is what I should have said.
variability in intelligence increases. So psychometrically, there's sort of one way to be not very bright and a variety of ways to be very bright. So there's differentiation at the upper end.
It's the same thing,
Right,
though.
and so I would say, I'm not particularly gifted mathematically, so I struggled with statistics. I eventually figured it out, but it certainly didn't come to me easily. I don't tend to think mathematically. I've certainly had students who are like immeasurably more intelligent than me on the mathematics front.
Which is
I had a student
conversely,
at Harvard.
he's dumber.
She went from zero
How is there only one way to be dumber?
statistics to winning teaching awards for teaching it in about 6 months. She was a little autistic. She was also a very good writer. That's
You
a
mean
rare
literally
combination
read,
to
eh?
have that extreme spatial mathematical intelligence and extreme verbal intelligence. You get a person like that now and then, but it's pretty rare.
And she was just coded that way to be able to do that. That wasn't anything that she did to be able to learn quickly.
IQ is very biologically determined.
Yikes.
Very.
Not true,
It's
because
very-
you can study for it. Yeah, he's been fucking boiled. He's been boiled so many times he's turned red.
Could I ask you a question? I've never had the privilege of being on a panel with a quantum mechanics expert yet. You all have heard of the quantum mechanics Planck constant, of course.
Oh, fuck.
I've never quite understood it. Could you explain it in layman's terms?
You know how the world goes round? Does that? Yeah. The Planck constant doesn't. Just think of a plank. Yeah, like if a pirate ship was...
So the world is spinning
No,
on
no, in layman's terms, sorry, Dr. Robot. What I'm saying is, if you give me a chance to explain here, the Planck constant just means that, you know, as the world spins, some things don't.
What are your thoughts on superposition?
Oh, yeah. I
Everyone
like
knows
superposition.
of course, in the quantum mechanics world. What's your thoughts on that?
What? Like electron superposition?
I could take it or
Charge
leave it.
superposition?
I'm all good with it,
It's a
for
wave
the most part.
concept.
I mean, some people...
It's superposition of charges. Wait, why does superposition of charges work? Because electrons are... I assume this happens because
Can you speak to the part that you're not all good with?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is when to use it and when to not use it, right? Should you use it in a computing system that's going to guide missile attacks in Central America? Yes. Should you use it in
but he was specifically asked IQ.
To be able to learn quickly?
IQ is very biologically determined. Very. And it's very.
I understand your point though, because he's equating intelligence with IQ. I think that's fallacious because IQ is literally a fucking number, and intelligence is like spatial reasoning, speaking to some degree, not making fucking mistakes every now and again or at all. Killing homeless people, feeding stray cats to ATMs.
It's very rough. It's no wonder. My student and I, Daniel Higgins, who is a partner of mine in business still,
Higgs boson.
we, at Harvard in the 1990s, we did a lot of work investigating the world of psychometric measurement. So that would be the assessment of cognitive ability and personality. And we delved very deeply into the
Why is he
literature
so
on
red?
neuropsychological function. And so that would be, that's from a field that basically derived its information from
Oh, he's right ring, right? So he would generally choose IQ to be biological.
animal experimental studies as well as human beings, study of human beings with various forms of
Because it proves racism. Proves.
brain damage. There was an effort, I don't know if that's still ongoing, to develop tests that would be associated, where people would show decrements that were associated with known areas of brain damage. They developed a lot of
Decrements?
specialized, be associated, where people would show decrements that were
Oh.
associated with known areas of brain damage. They developed a lot of specialized tests. My student and I, on my
Yeah, but like the effect of IQ is just to like denigrate populations. And he is also in a, so when you get into a position of power, like professor, psychiatrist, doctor, you have to choose what you say carefully. Because you can get ousted. Specifically psychiatrists, because they can't just tell you, like if they tell you one wrong thing and it sticks with you, you're fucked. Well, I mean, he hates black people, doesn't he?
old supervisor, we computerized a battery of so-called neuropsychological tests, and then we used them and IQ tests and personality to predict academic performance and managerial performance.
You just already said it
and
would work perfectly.
like line worker performance, trying to figure out, well, two things. What exactly is it that makes someone productive depending on their positioning? And then
Google Peterson?
also, how could that be measured
Google
effectively so that if
Peterson.
you wanted to hire or place or promote, you could do that in the most effective possible manner. And so that meant that we had to thoroughly familiarize ourselves with the neuropsychological literature, which I already kind of knew, with the IQ literature, which was quite new.
So I'm gonna, basically, he said they tried to scan people using a bunch of metrics to determine who should get a promotion and who couldn't. If you were to replace him with AI, would you be acceptable to that? Agreeable to that?
To me, and then with the personality literature. And so the basic claim of the psychometricians on the IQ side is that for all intents and purposes, IQ is relatively unitary. So intelligence, general cognitive ability. Personality is multidimensional, but
Like he wanted to scan people using metrics, personality, IQ, and his custom psychometrics measures to determine who should be applicable for a promotion, determine
what exactly is it that makes
who should be a
hire
line
or
worker,
place or promote? You
hire,
could do
replace,
that
or promote
in the most effective possible
in the
manner.
most effective
so
way
that meant that we
possible
had to-
manner. So if like a machine did that, would you be agreeable to that?
But cognitive ability, although it differentiates at the upper end, is
Like if there was constantly like you had to go to get this job, you had to take this test done by an AI, and then at the end of the test, it goes like you're okay. You'll be placed here, line worker, no chance of promotion based on your scores, or you are not hired here, go somewhere else, or you are hired to be CEO. Would you be fine with that? Really? Not social skills, like, because like you can't really test social skills. Well, you gotta ask for. You gotta take a gun. You gotta fucking shoot people. And then you go to prison. You sell smokes. It's a good way to make money. I made like a few $1,000s at FVH.
a pretty solid
least.
unit. And no one likes that idea. And no wonder. It's no wonder. So why would people not like it? Well, it seems very unfair and anti-egalitarian to note that
That's what
there's
unfair
wide
means.
variation in the trait that is the best predictor of long-term success in complex occupations. It's not
So it
like the
means
cards
nothing.
are dealt out equally. They're not dealt out equally
How
at
much
all.
of that is genetic?
Most of it.
So if you have smart parents, you're probably
Well, if
going
you
to be
have
smart.
parents,
No, it doesn't
you're going to
work
be
like
slightly
that.
less smart than the average of your parents.
Yes, that is true. Generally, if you take two geniuses, you put them together, they produce fucking average kids. That is actually true. I've noticed that.
Because imagine that your intelligence isn't determined only by your parents, it's determined in a way by the whole stream of your ancestry. Now, if you have two smart parents, on average, their ancestors are going to be slightly less smart than they are. So you get the best way to predict your IQ, if we didn't know anything else, would be to take the IQ of your mother and father and average them and then reduce it somewhat.
I don't really know much about biology, but like you take two parents and two intelligence parents, which means they have different, so to say, genetic material. You take them together, they're gonna have different, very like high differences. These differences are not gonna mesh.
Because that's called regression towards the mean. So there's a tendency for biological forms to default back to their standard configuration.
Which is
Or increase it if the average was lower than.
Yeah, that's right. So if
Yeah.
you had two parents who were impaired in their cognitive ability or far below average, on
So-
average you'd be smarter than they were.
Would that then suggest that with enough time, we're all going to be about even? If everyone's
well,
kind of
the average is IQ. The average is 100. So
Hasn't it been going up over time though?
there's debate about that. It's gone up over time in some ways, for sure. So although it's difficult to increase IQ, you get companies now and then who pop up and claim that they can increase your cognitive function. There's zero evidence for that. There's no. What happens if you practice a complex task?
Do you have
tend
a
to get
manager,
much better
Crazy
at the
Man,
complex
9588?
task, say a video game, but it doesn't transfer over and make you generally smarter. No one's figured out how
Right.
to increase IQ with cognitive exercises. You
well,
can
he's just doing the
maintain-
test. Like, you just do the test. You learn how to fucking game the system. You notice that the geniuses in IQ are literally nobodies? Practice. Only if you can be dumb, though. He didn't even say the word like you test.
maintain or increase your IQ with exercise, cardiovascular and weightlifting, because your brain is a very demanding organ. So if your cardiovascular system is healthy, especially as you age, that's a huge deal. There's nothing that you can do that's more important than staying in physical
I suck off my dad all the time.
shape to maintain your cognitive ability.
Clip
So,
that.
but nobody
I
knows
can't
how to
worm tonight.
increase
It'll
it.
take too
I
long.
mean,
I
that
have to go
would
to
be
bed
a
pretty soon. I say that as I go to bed in like
discovery
2
of infinite
hours.
value, but no one's figured it out. You can suppress IQ quite easily by, say, not stimulating young children to the degree that their intelligence has room to play, let's say, or by not breastfeeding them. That's a good way to have stupider children, if that's what you're after.
It's a good way to have stupider
Breastfeeding confers,
children.
I think, something like a 3 to 4 point increment per year breastfed. It's something like
Why is that? Is it just the
optimal
bond?
nutrition. The brain's a very demanding organ, and so it uses a
Thanks,
tremendous
bro.
amount of
I
your
thought I looked
metabolic
freaking
resources.
fresh,
and
bro.
so nutrition and exercise make a huge difference. So if you asked about biological determinism with regards to IQ. So imagine that you take twins, identical twins who were separated at birth,
Dead.
and then you track their IQ as they age. Well, by the time they're 60, their IQs are so similar, regardless of their background, that it's as if you're testing the same person twice. So, strangely enough, if IQ is environmentally determined, you'd expect twins separated at birth to diverge as they age. They don't, they converge. So,
I can see why that makes people very upset.
there's a whole bunch of reasons to be upset by it. I mean, when Daniel and I sorted this out in the 90s,
Thanks, Prague.
we thought that this might be the shoal upon which Western culture demolishes itself, because IQ is a vicious predictor of long-term success.
A
It's
vicious
by far the
predictor.
best predictor. It's 5 times as powerful as conscientiousness, which is the next best predictor. So conscientiousness is associated with industriousness and orderliness. It's associated with political conservatism. It's associated with
What?
traditionalism. Outgroup, let's say, skepticism towards outgroups to some degree. That's conservatism more. But, and we probably can't measure conscientiousness as accurately as we can measure IQ. We have to rely on personality scales and self-report and reports from other people. That's the best we've been able to manage, and no one has been able to come up with a practical test of conscientiousness. Like, I've probably tried 50 things in my lab, bringing conscientious people into the lab, giving them different sorts of tests, seeing if we could figure out what activity conscientious people would do better in the lab, so we could use that as a measure. We could never do it. We did things like, for example, imagine you have rows of N's, M's, U's, which are visually quite difficult to distinguish. Imagine a variety of rows of those, and then your job is to go through and circle all the N's. You'd think perhaps that would be associated with something like diligence or industriousness, conscientiousness, but it's just another IQ test. It's very, very hard to find a cognitive test that isn't just IQ. And IQ is very easy to measure. This is another thing that makes it troublesome, let's say, apart from the fact of unbelievable variation between people. Like, people with extreme IQs are so much more productive than people with, on the lower end of the scale, that they're not in the same universe in a sense. And they're certainly in the same moral universe, and they have the same value intrinsically. And IQ is not associated with morality, let's say. Just because you're smarter doesn't mean you're a better person. And in fact, I think there's a temptation that comes along with intelligence that's Luciferian, and that's been warned about in mythologies forever. Bitter intellect, you know, the person who has been gifted by God, so to speak, with a great intellect, who believes that the world should bow at their feet in consequence, or presumes that their rational, what would you say, their cogitations produce systems of value that should be imposed upon the world. That's the Luciferian temptation. But there's a massive difference between people at the upper end of the cognitive distribution and people at the lower end. And so it's easy to measure. It's very robust. So, for example, imagine you had a library of 10,000 questions. Questions about anything. They require abstract cognition to solve. That's the only criteria. Multiple choice questions, vocabulary questions, general knowledge questions, mathematical questions, spatial rotation questions, anything that requires abstract cognition. Okay, so you have 10,000 questions. Extract out a random set of 100 questions, give that to 100 people, sum their scores, rank order them. That's IQ. Now, the technical IQ test correct for age, but that's irrelevant with regards to the measurement.
Oh wow, that's actually true in her case too.
And
Tablet?
I would
No.
think about this because
You
I'll
shouldn't
tell
use
you
that in a
what it
tablet.
is that
I don't
you
need
need
that in the app.
to do
There's
to
not
be
an app for that, and
successful.
I'm
Some of
fine
these
with it
things
because
aren't so
superposition isn't a power that
malleable,
should be
but
yielded
others
by
are things
What am I
that are
listening
year-olds.
to?
Well,
named-
IQ, well, that's a rough one.
Pop Smoke. Bog Pill. Alex Jones. I'm so glad I got this video before it was taken down. I should just not reply. Is it Yongs? Or Vongs? What up, dog? TwitchCon hype. InfoWars, check the hacker. The Rolling Stones, the prophet of disaster. My existence is a momentary lapse of reason. Shred 13 times out of 11. I'm doing good. I can't speak for these other freaking,
Duncan, who lives down in New Jersey on his iPod Touch.
I want to thank our panel very much for coming out.
I'm glad I did this. This is very enjoyable.
Do you think this guy wants to sell us graphic design services? Yeah, I was actually just working for SpaceX. I was doing some quantum electromagnet. Oh damn. Eastern Central Time, Standard Time. Which one is this? Ligma. I have Ligma. Thank God I didn't go to university when ChatGPT was out. I would have just fucking cheated and not learned anything. Well, I mean, it's very easy to cheat in university because you could take literally any solution online and just write it down verbatim, and the prof wouldn't know. Video unavailable, eh? Yeah, that's true, actually. True, and true. Yeah, apparently. Because you're patriotic, right? Yo, no. Stockwatch. Why does kids you know?
Where did you get AIDS?
No, you did that, man.
I did not.
No, you wrote it on them.
Problem is that Carlton was not, in fact, at your high school, but you don't know that. Okay.
We don't know.
Well, you don't necessarily, you don't remember that. You don't remember him because he didn't go to your high school, but he's crashing the party. You're crashing your reunion. It's a high school reunion. You know he's crashing the high school reunion. You two know each other. He doesn't know. So, all right, go ahead. We're gonna pretend that we know. And go for it.
What? So this guy on the left is a person from the audience.
Associate me with a terrorist. The joke. It's the joke.
That's so not cool.
That's not funny.
Yeah, that's
fucking bullshit, dude. The fuck? I know people who fucking died at that shit.
Wait, what did the caption say?
That's so not cool.
That's not funny.
Yeah, that's
fucking bullshit, dude. The fuck?
Yeah, that sounds a little autistic, eh? So what else is...
Well, you basically, as soon as you walked out, I went, don't do that.
To be fair, they shouldn't have invited this guy. He looks like a little autism. Look at him.
You don't remember him because he didn't go to your high school.
He's got his arms crossed and shit. That means fuck off. Look how he leans on the stool. Why not to just not take a joke? Do you know people? I don't know anybody who died in 9/11. Except me. This is a song that I have never heard enough of.
Individual stars float in the ocean of God, rocking the pinky with the shadow out of this.
Yeah, Kraz, why are you 9/11 beard?
You're gonna associate me with a terrorist. It's a joke. It's a
Dude,
joke.
that's so not cool.
That's not funny.
Yeah, that's
fucking bullshit.
She knows she's fucked up.
Fuck. I know people who fucking died.
Or that he fucked up and she's kind of...
The thing is, so.
I actually really support Trump. Fucking Christ. Oh. 98 IQ. I fucking get that so much. It's sad. Yeah, I do actually support Trump. Trump! 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 You compare me with a fucking terrorist! You think Trump's gonna go down as the best prime minister of the country? Double reverse fake out.
Mars, egos bigger than Jupiter, I'm breaking the bars, holding me back down to earth with physical laws, touching the moon, grace as I ready to zoom, comets flying through space, bringing possible doom, blocking the sun, bring a holocaust in the world, I'm talking back to Father Time, Mother Earth is my girl, I got the wings of angels walking down the valley of death, watching my step, cause the devils never want to respect, come correct on the studio track, taking
what is the big reveal?
I blast the original rap. Brother on the B-boy tip with cry on spit. I tag the charts with the graphical hits. So who you fucking with?
I'm like leg to arm head, snapping your neck back while you spit out our pants.
Original son of a bitch, hurting your wrist. Could you spinning my shit so much the needle skip? Flip to the rhythm and reminisce. Remember the days and die for hip hop as a gift.
The bigger is, I have a small penis, bro. I got a tiny penis.
Pedal to consumers, magazines and rumors, commercial spots turn real artists to clueless. Precise rap, rock and roll, nigga, let's do this. I flow through notes, break beats for my maneuver. Yo, regardless, while I be moving swiftly through darkness, plotting chart on my path, I'm running, cutting my losses, stumbling over unknown months and
well, usually the executive orders start, and then they peters off what the president does, to my knowledge, and then they don't do much. Are you ready for 4 years of ceasefire and then the war in the Ukraine to continue? Interesting. Yeah, I don't really care about Ukraine either. I just see what Putin's doing. As soon as Trump gets in, he goes to ceasefire. And he will continually ceasefire until Trump gets kicked out because of 8 years. That is just such a stupid fucking system. It's like the exact opposite of like Roman Kaiser shit. Intentionally so. You can hear the deep voice, bro. It's very toned up. This guy's fucking alpha.
so not cool.
I have a light voice because I'm a cuck. I don't know why I'm bullying that guy.
Yeah, that's
fucking bullshit.
I feel like I actually feel really bad about that. I apologize for my comments. Fuck. Cause like I'm like, this guy is just a fucking person, you know? Just because he reacts poorly to certain stimuli doesn't mean he's less of a person. And he's never gonna hear about this, but like, in my heart, if he did, then I would feel bad. Even though it's like such a minor thing, like, who gives a fuck? I don't know, it's just my empathy going off.
so not cool.
That's not funny.
Yeah, that's
fucking bullshit, dude. The fuck? I know people who fucking died at that shit.
You know, there are lines you can't cross. I'm fine with jokes that don't go all right. I mean, that's fine.
The other joke didn't go around. I was just trying to take it up now. Like, I mean, anybody, you know, I'm black. You know, racist, I just like.
I'm black.
You know, I'm black. You know, racist,
I just
like. Like, I mean, anybody, you know, I'm black. You know, racist,
I just
like.
I'm just.
Are you sure about that? You're black?
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
You're positive.
He is, yeah. I get you. I'm just.
I think he is, yeah.
Like lines you can't cross. That's all I think.
What kind of stupid fucking woke, I think is the term, type shit is this? Where everybody's offended at everything, but like you can't even try to make a joke about
I just
9/11
got
beers.
down, so. Maybe I overreact.
We're actually gonna be done right
Maybe I overreact. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I just have lines that I, you know, whatever. I just get bugged out.
Guys, it's okay. We're actually done. Thanks for being a part of this. All our profile. Organizing. Don't worry about
I don't know why they
it.
come back in. That's just kind of an awkward situation because that just limits the freedom that they have to make jokes. And lo and behold, they were actually continuing this audition thing. I didn't read that. Yeah, he probably died in an airplane to fucking Twin Towers shit. I'm gonna look at this video.
Hey, how you doing?
In the 1994 movie Pulp Fiction, Samuel L. Jackson uttered the iconic line, "Check out the big brain
Motherfucker."
on Brett." And he was right on the money. Brett did have a big brain. All humans do. And while it would make sense that our big brains evolved because smarts are a plus, it's not that clear cut. For one thing, brain size doesn't necessarily correlate with intelligence.
Yes, it
And
does.
for another, there are definite downsides to big brains. So how and why did Brett's brain and the rest of ours get to be so big? Let's use our
Why are they
oversized
trying to
brains and
fucking
think about it
dispute
together.
that? That's literally a thing. The higher your freaking
Now,
cranial
right off the
capacity
bat,
is,
I want to point out that we're talking about brain size at a species level, not among individuals. Some of the most recent evidence suggests that in humans, brain volume alone explains only 2% of the variation in performance at
Oh.
cognitive tasks, meaning that it's not a useful tool to use in comparing smarts between individual humans. Instead, what we're interested in is why the average brain size for our whole species has gone up, and how we managed to do that. In the animal kingdom, the relationship between brain size and body size isn't exactly linear. Yes, as bodies get bigger, brains tend to get bigger too, but it happens at different rates. Smaller animals tend to have larger brains relative to their body size, and larger animals tend to have smaller ones. For example, mice have a brain to body size ratio of roughly 1 to 57, but rabbits are about 1 to 205. And for a much bigger example, African elephants have a brain to body ratio of around 1 to 1,165.
Yeah.
To put that in perspective, if humans had the brain to body ratio of elephants, an 80 kilogram person's brain would
We
weigh
would have
just under
tiny
70
brains.
grams, which is less than the standard deck of
We have huge brains per our body size, which is like dolphins, actually. Dolphins also have big brains. Brain size per body mass. So you can look at the variation in the population, or you can look at the variation out of the population. But we're up here. The straight line is just a proportion to body mass and body weight. Yeah, body weight, actually, body mass. And then brain weight. So African elephants, oh no, dusky dolphins beat us. No, they don't beat us. We're looking at the mice, actually, are pretty equivalent. And a mouse gets the cheese. Exactly.
playing cards. While human body mass varies a lot, if we use the global average body mass of 62 kilograms, our brain to body ratio is around 1 to 47, which is even higher than the ratio for mice. We're definite outliers. And big brains can be big problems. One issue with big brains is that they require big heads. And in the case of babies, those big heads have to be squeezed through a pelvis in order for them to be born, at least in the case of vaginal births. Now, brain size isn't determined by the pelvis. As with a lot of things in evolution,
yeah, and they also get high off pufferfish
relationship between brain size and pelvis size or shape. As with basically everything about life, anatomy is complicated. But there is some evidence that the combo of our big heads and the shape our pelvis needs to be for walking upright may be related to why we have higher rates of maternal and fetal mortality than other primates. So that's one strike against our massive noggins. The other issue is that brains require a lot of energy to fuel. Across most vertebrate species, brains use somewhere between 2 to 10% of an animal's daily energy, but our brains use a lot more energy than that. Our brains make up about 2% of our body weight, but account for 20% of our total energy used in a day. That's a lot of extra fuel to burn, which means that there must be some real advantages to outweigh that cost. And there's been a ton of research on how and why our big brains evolved. But there are a couple of hurdles in studying the evolution of brains, one of which is that they're notoriously squishy, which means they don't really fossilize. So when we're looking at the evolution of the human brain, we're not usually looking at actual brains. Instead, we can look at endocasts made by taking fossilized skulls and using them as a mold. When anthropologists fill them with material that hardens, they produce a 3D replica of the inside of the skull. Imagine the tray of glue your dentist uses to make impressions of your teeth, except filling up a skull. Endocasts can't really tell us anything about the internal structures of the brain or the tissue itself, but they can do a pretty good job of allowing us to measure brain volume and stuff on the surface of the brain, like comparing the size of different brain regions. Now, anthropologists can use technology like CT scans to create virtual endocasts without risking damage to fossils. And sometimes endocasts form naturally when something like mud fills the skull and then dries out. The tongue child is one famous example of an endocast forming naturally, which is extra lucky since we don't have all of that individual's actual skull, just that endocast and some of the face bones and stuff. Endocasts like this one have shown us that over the last 6 million years, hominin brain size has tripled. Anthropologists think this started out as a gradual trend, but then bodies and brains got a lot bigger around 2 million years ago when Homo habilis and Homo erectus showed up on the scene. And then about 800,000 years ago, the rate of growth for our brains shot way up. So something must have happened that gave our ancestors a boost to brain size around that time. One idea is that humans extended about 800,000 years ago. The rate of growth...
That's roughly the age of fire, where we cooked our food and got intense amounts of nutrients from it.
Growth for our brains shot way up. So something must have happened that gave our ancestors a boost to brain size around that time. One idea is that humans' extended childhood and parenting time compared to other species allow our brains to grow bigger. That extended time is needed not just for brains to grow for longer, but also for our neurons to make more complex connections. Plus, it gives time for little ones to learn important survival skills, from hunting to socializing. But this is also sort of like a
700,000.
chicken and egg question. Did longer parenting times allow big brains to evolve first, or
790,000.
did recently evolved big brains require the development of longer parenting times? There's also a question about energy. Think of
Some
energy
people
like a
say
budget.
1.8
We have our
million
money
years
that's
ago.
available to spend, which in this analogy is our
Which is
basal
all
metabolic
fucking
rate, or
conjecture.
how much total energy we use just by existing. Then we have our expenses, or all the different parts of our body that we need to spend that energy on. If you want to increase the amount of energy available to allow for a bigger brain, you have two options: increase your salary or move money around from one expense to another. In other words, you can increase your basal metabolic rate or make something else less energy intensive so you free up energy for your brain instead. This is where the expensive tissue
So that's how you
hypothesis
say
comes
basal,
in.
eh?
It suggests that our brains took energy from the other bodily systems and shifted it towards brain growth, and the target of those budget cuts was our digestive system. A study published in 1995 found that not only are our brains bigger than what would be expected for our body size, our guts are much smaller than would be expected. Gut size and diet are correlated in mammals, with herbivores having a lot more
So
digestive
saying that
organ space
cranial
than
capacity
herbivores.
is not
Think about
correlated
how
with
multiple
intelligence,
stomachs
then
for
saying we're the most
digestion versus
intelligent
a cheetah's
species on the
naturally
planet
slim
because
finger.
of
And
our
that's
big
true in
brains.
primates too. Primates that eat calorically dense foods like bugs,
You can have
seeds,
them.
and berries have smaller guts than the ones that primarily eat leaves. Around the time that our brains started growing, humans also started using stone tools, which could have been used in hunting or as butcher knives. Basically, it became easier for our ancestors to eat meat, which is chock full of fat and calories. And a more calorie-dense diet means that less real estate and energy is needed to be devoted to digestion. So this hypothesis helps us address how we got our big brains. Now, let's talk about why. But first, all good research requires funding, so here's how we get ours.
This SciShow video is supported by JUMP, a statistical analysis software.
Does it have to do with group living? In some ways, living in a big group of people is risky. When you're around more people, there's more competition for resources. The cultural intelligence hypothesis proposes that one of the advantages to living in a big group, though, is that it allows individuals to share information in a way that makes them more successful at obtaining resources. So you can teach each other
Yeah, like
things
Twitter.
like how to use tools through imitation, and you can share knowledge of where the best troves of food or shelters are, so that knowledge spreads between group members and isn't lost between generations. And big brains are necessary for learning from each other and the social transmission of behavior. So they're worth the cost because they help groups to survive. On the other hand, the social brain hypothesis suggests that brain size isn't about shared knowledge, but shared behavior. The idea is that big brains help individuals come together to solve a shared problem cooperatively. That can be anything from grooming each other in big cliques to starting a violent fight against another group. But maintaining all of these social relationships takes a lot of cognitive effort. So big brains evolved because they favored social behaviors in ways that helped individuals accomplish specific tasks.
What does
Another
that
set
say
of
about
hypotheses
Neanderthals
has to
then?
do with uncertain environments. The period of time when hominin brains started growing by leaps and bounds corresponds with the time with a lot of ecological change. About 2 million years ago, our ancestors started migrating out from Africa, and as they explored new places, they encountered new environments, climates, and geography. Then around 800,000 years ago, the Earth entered a period of pretty volatile climate change. During this period, our ancestors had to figure out new ways to find food sources on the fly, and bigger brains would have given them the flexibility and adaptability they needed to do that. So, bigger brains meant better odds at surviving this unpredictable environment. In some species of
But it's
mammals,
not correlated
scientists
with
have also
intelligence.
observed a relationship between bigger brains and fewer fat stores. So, it could be that when food is hard to come by, having a big brain lets you figure out new ways to get food, instead of having to rely on stored energy in the form of fat. So diverting energy to a bigger brain might be just as good for surviving lean times as packing on the pounds would be. There's evidence for and against all of these ideas, so in the end, we still don't know exactly what happened or what caused these changes. And to make matters even more complicated, there's some evidence that human brains have actually started shrinking in the last
Yeah, I knew
3,000
that.
years. Researchers have reported that in this time, human brains have shrunk by about 4 ping pong balls of volume. Some scientists have proposed that the shrinkage is due to warming climates.
Shrinkage,
while
it's like
others
cold
suggest
water.
that it's a product of living in big, complex social groups. Basically, living in a complex society allows individuals within it to develop specialized skills and promotes the division of labor. No one person had to do all jobs or have all the knowledge, so others can just kind of forget bits of information here and there. And relying on others in the community to hold on to some of that knowledge for you may mean that it's no longer worth the massive energy expenditure of
Oh, because brain size is correlated with temperature. Historically, like over 2 million years. Here it is. So the darker it is, the higher cranial capacity. So this is biggest, this is second biggest, this is third biggest, this is fourth biggest, this is fifth biggest, this is sixth biggest, this is seventh. Yeah, we developed in the cradle of humanity. So these guys would have had the biggest brains. These guys had big brains. These guys had bigger brains. This is all... I forget what textbook this is in, but I actually found the textbook and posted it to my Twitter once upon a time. It's just what she said about...
Endocast and some of the face bones and stuff. Endocasts like this one, brains, have our money that's available, energy intensive, so you free up energy for your brain instead. This is where the expensive tissue hypothesis comes in. It suggests that our brains took energy from the other bodily systems and shifted it towards brain growth, and the target of those budget cuts was our digestive system. A study published in 1995 found that not only are our brains big,
because when we interbred, Ahmad 4, I believe. When we interbred, this guy has the biggest cranial capacity that we know of. Which is fucking huge. It's like 1.5 times our cranial capacity. This guy's brain was fucking massive. And he was in Israel. This is the fucking Jewish this is the Jewish protege. Pro ancestor. That was Jesus. Yeah, it was. About 55,000 years old. So we technically stole some brain size. Or something like that. We didn't really do that, but if we did, then Europeans would have huge skulls. Yeah, I'm actually about to read a book about this book, actually. Zealot. Oh, this is Reza. I thought Reza was a girl. I'm gonna read this book on the way to my thing tomorrow, which is coming up soon that I gotta go to bed for. But anyway, that guy's fucking crazy big cranial capacity. It's cray.
Bigger than what would be expected for our body size is due to warming climates, while others suggest that it's a product of living in big,
I would say it's both. The warming climates, not really, actually. The warming climates is kind of fucking stupid. But the complex social groups builds a reliance on not developing any sort of skills for yourself. Like cheating in university. There were geniuses forever until computers came out, then fucking no geniuses. There's autistic and Downey's got some big heads. Hold on. Should I ask her how big her head is? Autism cranial capacity. Ooh, damn, dude. They got the big brain. What do you mean Downies have big heads, bro? Is that true? Oh, you can't say Down syndrome. Down syndrome. Cranial capacity. But this is all kind of fucking irrelevant because you could have hydroencephaly and your brain can literally be like 10% the size and you will still be normally intelligent. You could even be up to like 130 IQ if you believe in that. Or down to 70 IQ and you'll function normally. I'm actually my brain is shrinking. An 8 to 11% thing in a year and a half, I believe. 17 to 27 month period, 8 to 11% reduction in mean fresh brain weights. Oh, that's the weight? Pronounced a general shrink of effect to around approximately 20%. Dude, my brain is fucking tiny, bro. And you know, I think the best part is schizophrenia brain shrinkage. So this study, they took normal monkeys and they injected them with antipsychotics. They've also found that in schizophrenics, brains... Fuck off. Don't fucking... They have found that schizophrenic people's brains shrink, and they blame it on the illness. That psychiatrist I had was specifically arguing with me about how schizophrenia, the disease itself, shrinks the brain. But like... I think I was a 14 hat size. This study gets it right. I didn't know about this study. I'm not letting that. Holy shit, that's funny. Why does it not? Okay. Save. That's so fucking funny. Why does it not let me download this? Why are you not showing me your tabs, bro? That's going on the blog. Better not be porn in here. Oh, it's not even in here. Instagram Live, what, like Ashton Hall? Why would it do that? Yeah, I vlog fucking everything, eh? What video? You mean this one? Oh, so you're embarrassed? You use 10k tabs. There's no way you had 10k tabs. Yeah, it's actually something that I noticed. I copied that off Instagram. Holy fuck, bro. What was it, all porn? Hentai? It's only the most malevolent and malicious psychiatrist that thinks that antipsychotics don't melt the brain, and it is actually the illness. You'd have to be a fucking moron to just deny the fact that antipsychotics shrink the brain and everything they touch. What are your tabs, Crest? Really? What if somebody looked through that? Just tons of like freaking midget porn. Horse porn. Midget horse porn. It's like literally like it impales him on the penis. Him, because it's a male. It's true though, most males fuck horses compared to females. I should say more males fuck horses compared to females. Mr. Hands is the only male that I can think of, only person that I can think of. Vinny! Vinny! I don't really care. Fuck these things.
Complex social groups. Basically, living in a complex society allows individuals within it to develop specialized skills and promotes the division of labor. No one person had to do all jobs or have all the knowledge, so others can just kind of...
Yeah, I keep it to a minimum now. Where if I want to work on something, I'll go back to it, but like... it just kind of grows. Baroque. Baroque, what does that mean? That's what that's called? Where it's just beautiful architecture? The Basilica. Why don't you use Mozilla, bro? Mozilla's the shit. Oh yeah, you have tab. How do you know that? Oh. Isn't the memory option just default? Oh, there's a game Baroque. Oh yeah, okay. 16, good enough.
It's so small and just all over the place and convoluted. Actually, not as bad as some of the ones. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, yeah, let's not. Yeah, no, but that's great.
He gets it. Well, that fire looks cool. Popped.
Everybody can shoot back.
Who is this?
It's also crazy because it's not a bunch of rookies that you have on that team. It's like veteran, experienced players, and you just see it time and time again. People falling in this trap now, always having to do something and be active.
Yeah, I love religion. And just like, have you seen that Mother. Have you seen Mother? This is a fucking beautiful movie. Don't look it up because it will spoil it. But holy shit, is it a good movie. God damn, I really like that. Oh god, it's a good movie. If you watch movies, then yeah, it's a fucking great movie. I literally cannot say literally anything about it. Yeah, if it's crazy cinematic. Like, it's so visually, like, just fucking crazy. It's so good. It's legit in my top 5 list of movies. And I don't watch movies that often. Hobbies that make women extremely... I don't care. No, that's... Well, okay, what? What hobbies?
That's odd. Power to stage 1 emitters in 3, 2, 1.
Probably.
I'm seeing predictable phase arrays. Stage 2 emitters activating.
Yeah, I learned that in high school when I was like looking up how to go for a girl. And then basically it dawned upon me, either through the video or something like that, something triggered me. And then I was like, why would I give a fuck if she doesn't want it? Or wants it? It doesn't, those are a two-way street. Yeah, well, it's a good thing I'm passionate about. But then again, it doesn't fucking matter. I just kind of am who I am. Interesting, I kind of contradicted myself there slightly. It felt like a contradiction.
Now. Overhead capacitors to 105%.
What's the chef doing in the freaking nuclear reactor?
Oh my.
Get him out
Me.
of there. Shut down the equipment and someone get him out.
FUPA. What is
Are you
FUPA?
insane? Shutting down.
Did women not actually find Jordan Peterson attractive? He's passionate, though. He's passionate about being a fucking schmuck.
It's not. It's not shutting down. It's not.
Fat upper pussy area. This is an old person thing, isn't it? I never saw it. Did you guys hear about that freaking Black Mesa ripoff, the remake that just hasn't out yet, and they've started to change. Black Mesa remake. They remade it in the Half-Life 2 engine. Is it out yet? I played it up until the point where I stopped playing it. Oh, it's surprising that they released it.
I believe this will make for a notable paper, don't you?
Oh, they had to get Dove's blessing for that? I was wondering why they were taking so long. Okay, I completely misinterpreted that.
Stage 2 emitters activating now. Shutting down. Attempting shutdown. It's not. It's not shutting down. It's not. Get him out of there.
Oh my God, we're doomed!
Oh yeah, okay. Holy fucking Christ, imagine pulling that lever.
I've got to get out of here. Stay back.
That's fair though.
Are you insane? Stop asking that question. I predicted all of this, you know. All of it. Who is responsible for this mess?
For God's sake, open the silo door!
I never thought I'd see a resonance cascade, let alone create one.
What is RTX H Half-Life 2? Fucking cool video, bro.
Stage 2 emitter.
Oh, really? So it looks fucking fresh as shit then, eh?
Stage 2 emitters activating now. Shutting down.
Fresh as shit, fresh to death.
Stage 2 emitter. 2, 1. What the hell is going on with our equipment? Stage 2.
Why do we all have to wear these ridiculous ties?
Now. Shutting down. Attempting shutdown. It's not shutting down. It's
Yeah, I know we could have, but I'm literally about to go to bed. That's why I made that comment. But I just didn't want to have the time investment. Go towards Worms, I guess. Lies, bro. I'm not fucking lying, bro. I am actually gonna go to bed now. I'm actually quite tired and I need to be up for 8 o'clock tomorrow. Fucked up pussy area. Yeah, okay, bro. That's not what I said. No, bro. I'm big and chilling. Like, we're gonna listen to some Velvet music. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Why does this do this? I don't even think I looked at porn with this current computer on. Lo-fi. Epilepsy warning. True. Yeah, I'm fucking rough, bro. Okay, guys, let me give the warning. Okay, epilepsy warning on this video. Don't watch if you don't have epilepsy. Look, right here. Look, it's loud epilepsy. What is they saying, Buzzy? Buzzy, I know you're a weeb. Pink Shorts is a dancing video with some girls that I like the Pink Shorts girl. Pink Shorts. Look, I'm talking to my mom, or I should say goodnight to my mom. I don't know if you can read that, but... Yeah, my mom. This isn't all of it. I have it more on my computer, but it's at home. I have plans for this. Does this say renal circulation? Where are you? Oh, Renhai circulation, you freaking mongoys. Yeah, it's in English, eh? Renal circulation. Okay, HXC. Dude, I have fucking huge penises. What did I mean by that? This song is gonna be fucking seminal with my seminal creations, like jizz all over the creation. I want it! Why do you say that, my blogger?
Es rappelt im Karton. Es rappelt im Karton.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, bud. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then go to bed. I was just waiting for Kyle's response, but I guess you're pushing me into going to the bathroom sooner. I guess I'll see you on the way back. Don't forget to smash that like button. Oh shit, I thought I fucking broke it. I piss small. I pretty much every time I get the urge to piss, I go and piss. Okay, I gotta go. I will see you. Remember to hit that like button, smash a bitch, and sub to a guy. Sub to a guy. Yeah, I have to tell you. So yeah, okay. Good night. Go play Worms or some shit. I don't fucking know. I'm not invested, bro. Okay, good night.